agents. We've all become great friends, and we've spent the past year on private masterminds discussing how we can improve our businesses and break through despite all of the challenges that we've all been dealing with over the past year. We have also met monthly with Gary Keller on private masterminds, and we've learned so much. And I wanted to bring these rockstar agents to a panel so that we can, highlight them for our office and our agent friends, ask them some questions, and bring everyone, some great value. Each and every one of them just have incredible ideas. We are always sharing and providing unparalleled, information to take our businesses to the next level. So I'm really excited to have you guys. Thank you for signing on, and we're going to get started with our questions.
Hey, Chris, real quick, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, hallelujah. All right. So guys, before we get rolling here, I would just really strongly urge everybody, put your phones on airplane mode, get out a notebook, get ready to take vigorous notes. We have the luxury here of having some of the top agents in the country. Take advantage of it and get ready to ask questions at the end, okay?
Also,
awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have questions, just go ahead and screen them in the chat. Once we get to the Q&A portion, I will be screening the questions for you guys.
All right, Chris, you want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Just to start off, we all know what goes up must come down. We know that we are definitely due for a market shift. So something that Kathrin, Alisha, and Nate and I have in common is that we are working on our database, and we are making sure that we are making those touches all of the time. We have a clear vision of who our advocates are and who the clients are that support us and send us a lot of business. We are making sure we touch them at least 36 times a year, because when the market does start to change and all of these agents that have their licenses just to help their aunts, uncles, and cousins, go away, people will, the competition will become more and more fierce because business will become scarce. So the people who have their database together are going to be the ones that survive. So if you haven't started to work on your database and identify your advocates, I definitely suggest you start now, because we are in for a shift. So first question, we are going to just rotate. Kathrin, Alisha, and Nate, whenever you guys are ready to answer, we can answer. Try to keep the answers to at least like a 3-minute minimum, and then we will move on. So first question, what are you doing that's creative and outside of the box to get listings and keep your momentum in this very challenging market?
You want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. I focus an awful lot on videos. I am not super comfortable doing them, but because I've been doing them for long enough, you probably can't tell that I'm not comfortable doing videos. We partner with a lot of local businesses, which help. My whole thing is just trying to come from contribution at all times. So what can I do with every video to make sure that I'm coming from contribution? One of the things that has been something that I've done for a year now, every single Tuesday, is I do a quick market update, and my videos are really short, unless they're my inspirational videos that I do also. But my videos for real estate, I try to make under a minute if I can. If they're really great content and a lot, then I'll go up to 2 minutes. But our biggest thing this year, as Chris was saying, is adding to our database. So our main goal is to add over 1,500 people to our database. And we've really dialed our 36 touch down to make sure that we're bringing them value and touching them on a consistent basis. I have a lot of stuff written down, but I'm going to respect your 3 minutes, so I'll stick with my videos.
Alisha, I'd like to ask a quick follow-up to the video question. So we have 12 market centers across our ownership group, and we just put in these killer studios in all of the offices that I know a lot of the agents on this call are getting ready to launch and start doing videos. For the people that are just scared to death to shoot their first video, what would you tell them in terms of length or being natural, or just something to get them into action?
I would take a shot. No, I'm just kidding. I don't drink. I would probably, I think the best thing, honestly, is to do it alone. Like I have one person with me most of the time because I don't trust myself holding the camera or having the little widgets to hold the camera. But this is probably going to be really bad, but I've done videos for so long now that I am just comfortable with my content. I don't practice. So I don't watch my videos after. And I think the biggest advice I can say is when you mess up, that's good. People want to know that you're a real person. They don't want it to feel rehearsed. So being able to, you know, stumble over your words, you know, there are times when I'm like, but I just keep going because I think that it brings that real piece of what makes people really want to work with me because my personality comes out. So don't watch them, don't practice, and don't be afraid of making a mistake.
Love it. Thank you so much. Kathrin, we see everything you're doing on social. You're taking listings like it's going out of style. So any tips?
So yeah, I'm also very big on video. By the way, I also teach a video class for agents on, you know, that are hesitant to do videos and how to overcome those fears. It's a very popular class. And yes, I also do those market updates, but to bring something new that, because you brought a lot of good points on the videos already. What I also do is I'm really milking my sold listings right now. I also advertise the active listings, and most of the time when my advertising goes out, it's already pending, but that's okay. Because I want the neighbors and everyone to see what I do for the listings. Like today, I got the video for a $3.2 million listing, but it's already pending for a week. You know, I already paid for the cover of a magazine. I already paid for 200 brochures. So what do I do with all this marketing material? I just have to use it to get new listings. So all the sellers in the area see, oh, wow, this girl is doing really a lot. And it's very tempting right now because properties move so quickly that you just move from one property to the next and just ignore that this has already sold or this is already pending, but you really still need to take the time and use the momentum for that marketing that you already paid for to milk that to get new listings. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, because in the past it was like I sold, move on to the next. And we really need to take advantage of having done such a great job on a listing.
Love it. Thank you so much. Nate? Oh, you're muted, Nate.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We got
Sorry
you. Thank
about that. So sticking with the theme here, I focus like a lot on social media, and I have a heavy social media presence. And one thing I've always tried to do is stay consistent. I can say I've been in it about 5.5 years now. I've never gone like a week without posting something. And lately I haven't gone like a day without posting something. So staying consistent, and always I like to share my coming soons. I share them when they're just listed. I share them after they're sold. We're not doing open houses here right now, but I used to advertise those a lot on social media. So I found just kind of really staying consistent and top of mind. I don't cold call. I don't send mail outs. I don't have billboards, and I'm still getting calls every day to list houses. And lately, like this year, it's been 3 to 5 listings a week. And it's like just trying to keep up with it all.
So obviously success leaves clues, right? And all three of you, when we talk about listings and where you're getting your listings, you all go to video and social media. So, I mean, on average, how many opportunities do you guys think that you're gaining a month because of the videos that you're shooting? A month or a quarter?
I would say I get at least 5 per month from social media. It's also sometimes people that I have worked with in the past that get touched through social media again, but at least 5. And then I get also a lot of referrals from other agents through my social media presence. I'm also a Lab Coat Agent moderator in the Lab Coat Agent Facebook group, and I get a lot of referrals from people that see me do my videos there. And I just have a very large audience in general on social media. So I do get from there, I would say, also at least 5 referrals a month. So I would say altogether 10.
Yeah, I'm probably the same, right around the same thing, like 5 to 10 a week, from whether it's other agents or just people living in the area watching the listings and the coming soons and the sold. So it's pretty consistent.
It's hard for me. I wish that I could give a number like them, but we are really big into transferring the people in our social media following into our database. So it's hard for me to track where they're coming from, because when they are, you know, our social media followers and we ask them for their contact and put them in the database and drip on them, I need to do a better job identifying if they came from our database or if they came from social media. So I don't have an answer like them, but I do get a lot of agent referrals, but it's more because we do a really good agent, like 36 touch.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. I mean, Gary V and all of our leadership at KW, I mean, they've been talking about this for years. Gary Vaynerchuk came out and said 3 or 4 years ago, if you're not on video, you're going to get run over in the next 5 to 10 years. And it's all coming to fruition. So I appreciate you guys sharing. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, where do you guys spend most of the time in your day? Meaning that you all have a lot going on. I'm sure you, just like a lot of busy agents, you have rockets being fired in every direction. You have people that are trying to pull you into administrative tasks. Where do you guys focus on the majority of your day in order to remain productive? Or just give us an idea of what does the beginning of your day look like, so that when you go home at night, you know that you accomplished what you were looking to accomplish.
So my main focus is always to build relationships. I don't cold call either. I want to bring value to other people. So I have a book. It's a very old school book, a leather book, and I put business cards in there of people that I meet that are outside of my industry. And I go through it every day, and I try to meet with at least one person a day, either for coffee, for lunch, because we all need to eat. Then I, rather eat with someone that I can, build a relationship with. And I ask myself every day, how can I bring value to that person's business and to that person's life? And many times I've brought clients to them or sent them referrals without ever getting anything in return, but that's okay. I just feel the karma works that way. If you're a giver, you get eventually something back. Sometimes not from that person, it's sometimes from somebody else, but you always want to stay on top of people's mind. And I'm just a huge giver, so I try to build relationships with those people that are outside of my industry. And some of them, they even call me, then after 2 months, they're like, Kathrin, you send me so many people, what's your agenda? And I'm like, I don't have an agenda. You're genuinely just a giver. And I also meet with a lot of clients, because I have a lot of, Miami is an area where people own a second, third, fourth, fifth home. And I meet with a lot of people when they're in town. I either play with them tennis. That's for me a touch, and a relationship management. I meet them for coffee or lunch when they're here, and that's how I do my day. I have a lot of personal one-on-one meetings.
So heavy into business development, basically, and relationship building.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Alicia?
I, like Kathrin, do a lot of personal relationships. However, I've tried to, which I don't know if Gary would approve, but I tried to go away from a lot of phone call lead generation. I probably do about 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day in phone call. And then I do the rest on social media engagement and really trying to make valuable comments on their Facebook or Instagram. Last month, because I wasn't busy enough, I started a nonprofit. And I used to be a single mom. At a really young age, with custody of my 2 little brothers when I was 17. So being a single mom is just something that is really big in my heart for single moms. So I started a nonprofit for single moms to become homeowners. And so my last month has been really easy lead generation, because all I'm doing is coming from contribution, whether I'm sharing the vision or partnering with these local businesses who I'm expecting them to donate a lot of their items to make these homes safe for the moms who are able to afford the lower price point. So it's been really fun. Usually lead generation isn't something I kind of have to pump myself up, but it's been one of those things that has been a real big honor to make these phone calls the last month.
Love it. Alicia, if you wouldn't mind, if you could put in the chat the link to your nonprofit, And I'd be more than happy, especially since you took your time to kick it off with $100 to your nonprofit. So thank you.
Oh, that would be great. I sure will.
Yeah, of course. Nate.
Yes, sir. So I'm very hands-on with my business. I try and do as much myself I can, probably to a fault. As I've grown my business, though, I've realized that I think that there's things that people on my team that I work with are better and more effective at doing, and things that I'm left better to spend focusing my time on. So typically I spend most of my time going on appointments, kind of getting listings ready, making sure everything's kind of good to go. I still do a lot of my own social media posts, but I do have a marketing team and an admin that assists with all my paperwork. And sometimes if I'm on the road and can't do a post and that kind of stuff, they can assist with that. But yeah, so usually in the mornings, I'm either following up with emails or phone calls. I'm generally up at 7:38 in the morning. And then there's a lot of evenings where I'm still working till midnight, but I don't see myself doing that forever. But right now, like I'm 34 years old, I don't mind grinding it out to try and set myself up for the future to maybe take a step back and kind of alleviate more tasks to other people and outsource anything that I can.
Love it.
Awesome. So our next question is, we would love to know about any effective systems or hacks that you guys are using for your business that have really helped you. Who wants to take that? Alicia, Kathrin?
I wrote down an awful lot. As we've been talking about, it seems like we're all really big on videos. One of the things that I've become really good at is creating these like series, these spotlights, to where, like Nate said, he was going from hopefully one video a week to hopefully multiple. And when you make these commitments and you say, like, one of the big things that I'm doing right now is called an impact series. So every Thursday I've interviewed with a past client who has some sort of success story in real estate. Last week I interviewed with a 23-year-old kid that I sold a property to, who saved for his down payment, rented out a room, and his mortgage is $400. But he's kind of showing millennials that it's possible to own a home. It's cheaper than renting a room here in Chico because we're a college town. Another one had an Airbnb success story where I sold her an $800,000 house, and there's a 1-bedroom in the back where she Airbnbs it and ultimately makes her mortgage $500. But so going full force with that, when I can commit to the Tuesday market updates, the Thursday impact series, the Wednesday vendor spotlight videos, it holds you accountable, and you feel like you always know what you're supposed to be doing, as opposed to wondering what type of video you should be doing that day or that week. The other thing that I've really conditioned my mind to do is anytime a client asks a question, I assume that other people would want to know the answer, and I jump on Instagram story and I just say, you might be thinking, if you buy a home and the inspections come back bad, can you get your money back? So I really try to condition my mind to, what can I do to use this in a video? How can I use this in a video? And like I said in the beginning, people love when you make mistakes. So it's not supposed to be perfect. In fact, if it is perfect, you're probably doing it wrong, because you're not going to have that personal connection with people who want to know that you're a real person. So I have a lot of other ones, but 3 minutes, Chris said, so.
You want to take another minute just because Jason's not on the call and we have a little extra time. We set the Zoom to end at 12:30, but we'll probably end a little bit earlier without Jason. So we have several more questions, and then we'll take questions from the audience after that. So if you want to extend it.
Okay. I actually do, like, one of my other, so we've been partnering with local businesses to do one of our 36 touch. I always used to overthink it and wonder, how am I going to come from contribution? What do people want to hear? So we've partnered with local businesses that give away a product, and we use them to spotlight in our, one thing about me is I love to use things over and over. So when we do a local spotlight and we do a video with the owner, I use that video about 3 different times so that I can touch different people throughout the month and not have to reinvent the wheel with anything. The agent 36 touch was always something that was hard for me to wrap my mind around, because I hate getting, and I'm sorry if you guys send me anything, but I hate getting things from agents where I'm like, why do I care about this? So one thing that we've been doing is anytime we create a new form, we see something that really works with our lead generation efforts or our spotlight videos, we send out to all of the agents in our database instructions on what we did. Here's our form. We hope it's helpful for you. And we get so many responses back from agents saying, you have no idea how many agents send me things that I just delete, but you're sending me forms that I can use and things. So people overthink the agent touch. And I've really learned that it's a fun, easy way to have agents write me back and say, I've never had someone share this with me before, or the full system on our, last giveaway that we did. So it's easy when you find something that you enjoy doing and that works. So
are you trying to say that nobody wants to hear about the daylight savings time change anymore?
I get those emails this morning. Every time I'm like, who has a clock? I mean, there's clocks are great, but most of us are all digital. So yeah.
All right, Kathrin.
That really great stuff, Alisha. I love it. I'm learning. I'm learning here too. This is really amazing. So what I've learned, especially over the last year, is efficiency. To be really extremely efficient. So I have a few systems now in place to be more efficient. So number one would be my virtual presentations. So I don't meet with any buyer or seller unless we had a Zoom consultation, because that's just how we do things. And once you set your mind to it and you believe in it yourself, then you can convince your clients. So I don't go to people's houses anymore to find out that they're interviewing 4 other realtors that do it for 1%. I don't like to waste my time. And thanks to Corona, I have to say, I've become super efficient. So I don't go to anybody's house unless I have a listing agreement signed and they're committed to work with me. So that has been a really efficient system for me. I have my whole consultation online. We go through everything. We go over everything. My people are very educated. They know what to expect. And I've really learned it's very much about setting expectations in this market. And once you master that, and once you believe in it yourself, that is something nobody can take from you, and it saves you so much time. Like I used to spend like an hour to drive to somebody's house, then I would sit there for an hour. And once you're in somebody's house, it's really hard to get out, right? Especially with the clients that like to talk. But if you're in your own office, you're the master. You can keep the conversation short and you can tell them, look, that's it. I have 25 minutes. We go over everything and then, yes or no, and then you move on. So the worst that you waste on somebody is 25 minutes, and you don't waste it. You still learn something, what you can do better next time. But I don't work with people anymore that are not serious. And it might sound cutthroat to some people. I just master my time a little bit better now versus just, entertaining people and driving around all day long. So that was one of the things that I started to implement. And then obviously, like, my videos are saving me time too. I started doing something similar like Alisha. I started to record the messages that I would normally give in person. Like, the day before the inspection, I would call the client. I would, again, set the expectation with them that the inspection is only there to decide whether they want to move forward on the purchase or cancel. The inspection is not there to renegotiate the price. Of course, we can ask to renegotiate the price if there's major items, but this is not why we do the inspection, okay? And so I have a whole long video on that I recorded and I sent to the clients the day before the inspection. And then I see if they watched it and if they watched the whole thing. And that also gives me the leverage to say then later, remember in the video I mentioned, then they can't say, oh, you never said that, because I know if they watched the video or not. So I have a ton of those videos that I just send out to people. So I don't need to repeat myself. And again, it's all about efficiency. It makes me look good. They know everything, they're prepared, but I don't have to do it all over again.
Well, what I just want to say, Kathrin, is I don't think it sounds cutthroat at all. The first part of what you said, I think it's really powerful. The fact that you're so confident in that you can say that you're not even getting in the car until you have a listing agreement signed. And this goes back to the beginning of the conversation. The more than likely, the reason for that is you have so much social proof that they look you up and they know that you're the real deal because you're putting the videos and the social media. They don't even need to question it. So that's amazing. I hope everybody really pays attention to that. That's amazing.
Yeah. I always say, I always say to myself, I'd rather sit by my pool. I have a beautiful pool. I'd rather sit by my pool in the sun than to work with someone that's not motivated. So what's the point?
Love it. Love it.
Nate?
Yeah, so it sounds like I need to work on my Zoom listing presentations. Like me personally, I haven't had the best success. I've done a few of them, and I just find like kids are always yelling in the background, and there's the dogs barking, and you're trying to build a connection with them. So I do think that that's a great idea, and I think I'm going to start trying to pre-qualify sellers that way. But I personally am still going on listing appointments in person. And what I've been doing is I used to, years ago when I first got in, I do the whole like comparative market analysis, every adjustment, and come up with an exact price. But how many times have you shown up at a house and it's not what you're expecting, and then you're left trying to do stuff on the fly? So what I've started to do is I actually kind of do my homework in advance. I show up at the property, I tour the house with the seller, and then I do my CMA right there with them. And I go through every house. I show them the photos. I show them what they listed at, what they sold for, when they sold. And I'm reading their body language. I'm reading their responses by gauging how they're responding to these sale prices. And then by the time we get to the valuation, it's not like I'm an agent just sitting down and telling them a number. Like they've seen the last 10 homes to sell. And if they thought their house was 800,000 and they just saw the nicer one sell for 700,000, they're probably going to be reconsidering that by the time I'm having that conversation with them. And I found it's really worked well with me because it gives me some time to kind of process what I've seen after viewing the house with them and then sitting down and going through it with them. And I think it resonates more with sellers because it's not like I'm pulling numbers out of thin air. You're like going through it with them, right? And usually I can tell by the time I've even told them a number on their house, whether or not they're going to be happy with that or disappointed or, and then you can kind of gauge how to have the conversation from there. And to what Alisha mentioned earlier, I have always found like, I look at social media as like a window into the life of a realtor in a sense. And they have all these shows now, like $1 Million Listing, Selling Sunset, and everything in between. It seems like people love this stuff. So I think that they like to follow in. So I like Instagram stories. If you're showing a property, maybe it won't work for the buyer you're showing it to, but you can share that on your Instagram. It might work for another buyer, or you can give sneak peeks of listings or what's going on in your day. And in being authentic, and like, I like how Alisha mentioned, like making mistakes, like that just shows that you're human. And some of my best, most viral posts have been not planned at all. Like I had one a couple months ago. My sellers took a photo of their dog peeing on my for sale sign. And I thought it was hilarious. And they sent me it and I posted it and it went nuts. Like everybody just loved that, right? And a few years ago, I had one where I had a house that I sold and had an old toilet they put out. And like one of the sellers sent me a picture of just the toilet. And I was like, I can't remember the play on words, but some of these like funny things that just kind of aren't planned, they're totally genuine and authentic, like figuring out a way to share that to connect with your audience. It doesn't even have to be about real estate. It can just be about real life. And that just like, I feel like that just builds a connection with your audience and just really helps them kind of trust you and see you more as, a real person and not just some like, I don't know, like showcase that you want to show like for this show you're putting on. You're a real family person, like your dogs or kids, whatever's going on in your life, especially if it's funny and chaotic these days, like people love that stuff.
Hey, Nate, one more question. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Nate, one of the pieces of advice that you gave to me, and you probably don't remember, but it was last March when we all jumped on that call and we were super depressed thinking our businesses were going to tank. And we sat and we talked and we just gave advice how to get through this. And we've really all become, very friendly throughout this by helping each other. But one of the things that you told me that I'd love to share this nugget with everyone else is Nate makes a post. See, you're smiling because you're wondering what I'm going to say. Nate makes a post and he watches it to see if it's a dud or to see if it really just takes off. And if his post starts to take off, he'll do a paid boost and just really make it take off and get a lot more exposure. So I thought that was really great. And we've started to do that as well.
Yeah, because you can gauge your audience in that first hour. I had someone taught it to me in a Keller Williams class. I can't remember which agent, but she described it as unicorns and donkeys. And a donkey is a post, like 99% of posts. It goes up, you get a few likes, minimal engagement, and then it disappears, right? And every now and then you run into those unicorns where for whatever reason, the photo, the video, the media, it's funny, something, it goes viral and it starts to take off and gain more traction. So spending $100, for example, on a donkey ad, you'll burn that up much quicker than an ad that's running more effectively. So you are better served to double down and triple down on your posts that you know are kind of going to gain more traction, as opposed to maybe just throwing the exact same amount at every ad. And I've been noticing that like works really well. And it's tough to gauge sometimes. Like you think like the house is going to do really well and it doesn't. And then another house you think is going to go viral or doesn't go viral and it does. And it's hard to predict sometimes. So I like to watch it for an hour or two and then decide how I'm going to target that ad.
Talking about consistency, I definitely, suggest everyone should friend request on Facebook, all three of these awesome agents. But you're speaking about Nate's social networking. I love the way on your videos where you're always standing in the video, you talk about the house, you spend time, and then it goes into the tour. Really, really helpful. And you're really smooth with that too when you talk.
Honestly, man, it's years of practice. I remember the first video I did, I couldn't sleep the night before. I think I was like pacing in the video. I should share it. That's something I'm going to probably share in the next little while, just to show like how far I've came, and people love that stuff. And I am in the works of compiling a blooper reel that I can't wait to share, because I've had some, oh man, sometimes it takes 10, 20 tries. Others it's the first time, but that stuff's great. And if you can package that together in a funny, relatable video, like that stuff always kills it on social media.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's move on to the next question, guys. So if you were to give one piece of advice to a new agent, or if you could go back to your first year in real estate, what would you do differently? Whoever'd like to take that first.
I would say treat your business like a business. Show up every single day, Monday through Friday. I get in every day at 8 a.m. and there's maybe one other agent here. And I understand that people work from home, but even before the pandemic, I would still be one of the ones who showed up and left right at 5. One thing that I would do different if I went back again is I would shut my phone off at 5 when I got home, because I found success in real estate. I grew up very poor and found that I was really good at real estate and put my all in real estate and didn't realize that my family was falling apart. So I would be much more aware, and I would give my best self to my family as opposed to giving my best self to my clients.
Love it. Love it. Kathrin?
Yeah, I'm always surprised in how many people want to make a lot of money, but they don't want to do what it takes. So I piggyback on Alisha. You really need to work hard. The work isn't going to do it by itself. Whether you later on leverage yourself and work a little bit less, at some point you have to put in the hours. So you have to do it at some point. There's no like shortcut for that. And in order to be efficient, I wished somebody had told me not to work with unmotivated people and cheaters. So I work with a lot of clients right now that tell me, oh, I'm looking for a house, just find me a house. I don't give it my all with those people. If I find something, maybe, but you need to really focus on the ones that are committed and loyal. And you need to put everyone on an agreement, because if they're not, they're just going to cheat, and you're wasting so much energy on people. I even let like close family sign, put everything in writing, just get it signed, because you need to focus on the people that that bring you a paycheck, not the ones that are just looky-loos. Look, you call them looky-loos, right?
Yeah.
You really need to be extremely efficient, because otherwise you need to spend time with your family. No client is worth you wasting the time. You need to put a dollar amount to every hour you work. I know what my hourly rate is. What is your hourly rate? Define it, and then make sure you know your hour when you spend time with an unmotivated client that is not on a buyer's agreement, showing him 25 houses. How many hours are you going to spend on that client, and how much is that worth it? And I just do the calculation, and I always think, no, I don't want to spend $1,500 on their clients, and I make it feel like the money is coming out of my wallet, and that really hurts. And then the other thing is, like, you really need to appreciate this job. I feel that real estate is an amazing opportunity to make a lot of money. I grew up very poor too. I went to stores shopping with my girlfriends, and they bought stuff, and I could never afford things. And I always wanted to make a lot of money. And now to have the luxury to just go to a store and to buy whatever the heck I want is an amazing accomplishment. And real estate is an amazing force that can give you this opportunity. So be really appreciative. Every time I get a check, I calculate how many hours my mom would have to work for it. Like this week, I had so many closings. In 1 week, my mom would have to work 25 years to make the same money. 25 years. So, stay humble and appreciate those great opportunities that real estate can give you. It's a great, great vehicle.
I think the dollar per hour comment that you made is also powerful, because that's also a way for when agents get to the point where they're at 20, 30, or 40 deals, where most agents get stuck and they never break through. Once you figure out that dollar per hour, that's when you realize that an assistant needs to come into your world, or you're never going to grow. So that's a great model to adopt early. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right, Nate.
Yeah, so I just think that there's no ceiling in this industry. You can get as much out of it as you put into it. And if you want to get, if you want to reach the top, you got to do the things that most other people aren't willing to do. I've never met a lazy mega agent. It just doesn't exist. That's the one. Everybody might have a different way of doing it, and that would be my thing. For your first year, you really want to be. Your first year or two is a kind of a figuring out process. You should be trying a bunch of different pillars of lead generation, and you should be tracking everything, and you should be figuring out where you're spending your time, what's the most effective use of your time. And that shouldn't be for 3 months. You should be tracking it for a year or two. Some people try door knocking and they do it for a month and they don't get a listing and then they give up. Like, it doesn't happen that quickly. You gotta be relentless. And that's why there's such a high turnover rate, I think, in this industry, is because a lot of people think they'll just get their license and come in and the phone will start to ring. And the first year is always the hardest. If you can make it through that first year or two and find a way to be successful, like, you're going to set yourself up for success. And it's not going to happen overnight, but this career can change your life. 5.5 years ago today, I was making $13, $14 an hour detailing cars. Hourly wage, there's only so many hours in a week. There's only so much money that I could make. And last year I made close to $250,000 in a month. And I just never even thought that was even possible in a year, let alone to crank that out in a month. So it's like, and you don't want to compare yourself to, like, numbers should only be a way to kind of track your progress. It shouldn't be like keeping score with other agents. It should be keeping score with yourself, so you can figure out, what are my goals and what do I want to get out of this? Because not every agent wants to, sell 1,000 homes a year. And like, sometimes it's like, maybe you want to just kind of, work 30 hours a week and make as much money as you can to set yourself up for your family and your future. And that's okay, right? Everybody's got different goals. But my advice in your first year, track everything you're doing and figure out what's the most effective use of your time. And usually if you're trying 3 or 4 or 5 different things, 2 or 3 of them will be working well for you and 2 of them might not be. And then after a year of kind of trying it, you need to figure out what's working for you and double down on that and maybe shy away from the other activities that aren't as effective.
Can I add something to that? Because that was really amazing what you said, the numbers. And I posted something on Lab Code Agents a few days ago. So many times all of us get blown away by numbers and sidetracked. We look at those big teams with their big numbers and their big production, but you also need to look at other things. You need to look at how many staff people do they have? How much support staff do they have? How much do they spend? And how many team members do they have? Because some of those big teams that sell like 1,000 homes a year, I can tell you they make less money than me, and probably than Alisha. You know, it's so important to look behind and at the profit and loss statement, because anybody can make like $3 million, right? But how much do you have left after expenses? So don't use those numbers to intimidate you, use them to inspire you.
Absolutely.
I've always, since I started as an agent, I've looked up to big agents, not to get intimidated, but to get inspired. And I wanted to know what they did. I always asked questions and I came from curiosity. I wanted to know, what can I do to be like them? So I know a lot of people get overwhelmed by big numbers, and there is questions you need to ask, right? How much does everybody spend?
Cool. I'd love to jump in and answer that question as well. You know, what I tell the new agents that join our office is, take out your cell phone, you know, convert all of the phone numbers that you have in your cell phone into an Excel spreadsheet and call every single person. Well, first off, I tell them to highlight, you know, all the people that know, like, and trust them with one color, with another color, highlight everyone that knows them and likes them, and try to work on that group to trust you. But your cell phone is gold. The numbers in your cell phone are gold, and the people that are in your cell phone already trust you, most likely like you, and those are the people that you can get business from. And if you're not willing to make phone calls to these people the first month that you have your license and tell them what you're doing and how you want to help change their lives through real estate, then real estate isn't for you. Number two, if you do not want to take action and you don't want to set goals and make a plan, the key word is action. So if you're expecting leads to just come to you and you want to go to an office where the broker hands out a few different leads, you know, that's your choice. But if you want to take action, working open houses every single weekend, calling the people in your database, you know, dropping little gifts off to people, you know, that are your advocates, working your social network sphere, and developing that touch system. If you're not willing to do that in the first 3 months and you're not passionate about real estate, then it's just not for you. But the people that work hard are the people that make it to the top, and those are the people that break through. And if you're in the middle of the line agent where, you know, you're producing 4 million to 10 million, I highly suggest get a coach. Coaching is huge. It's someone that we all have coaches, someone that will look at your business from the outside and look in, create action steps, help you figure out what your priorities are, and help you reach those goals in order to raise the bar by holding you accountable and by, making sure that you're doing the things that you need to do. As soon as I got my coach, my business really doubled, you know, just because I was just stuck, you know, and I hit a ceiling and I didn't know how to grow my business anymore, but it's super, super helpful.
Chris, I also want to drive home one more thing that Nate said, so everybody just hears this again. 5 years ago, he was making $13 an hour, okay? I know a lot of people on the call, they may not have had the best first quarter or the best year that they had, okay? But you can be anywhere that you want to be in the next 5 years. And one of my mentors and multifamily guru, his name is Rod Cleef, his saying is, you are one decision away from the life of your dreams. So maybe today is the time to make the decision. So just thank you guys for that. That was incredible.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right, Chris, you want to go to the next question?
So the next question, with talks of rising interest rates and lots of noise out there with big, you know what, I only have half the question written down. Can you finish it?
Sure. With talks of rising interest rates and a lot of noise out there with big tech getting involved in our business, I think we know who we're talking about. What are you guys doing to pivot and stay proactive so that no matter what's going on the outside, your business is going to continue to build no matter what? So let's talk about resilience.
I got in the business when it crashed. So as many people look at me and say, that is awful, I'm so sorry. I love it because all I've learned is the strategies like lead generation, showing up every day, that's made me the top producer that I am. I wouldn't have wanted to get in the market when it was a good market because I feel like I would have got, like Nate pointed out, more of like a lazy agent, because you get in the market with the luck of the draw and everybody's selling or buying. So I feel like I'm ready, and I've been ready the last, probably like Nate and Kathrin, we've been ready for 3 years for the market to shift, at least 2. You know, Gary's been telling us it's happening. This is the year. This is the year. And we've still been in this bubble. So it's, for me, I want the market to crash. And I don't mean that in a bad, mean way, but there's major opportunity when the market crashes. And it's a good market for somebody, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. When the market crashes, I can guarantee you, us 4, including Chris, will be buying a lot of properties. So, and that's when opportunity shows itself, is in these down markets. So that's when rich people get rich, is these down markets. So for me, being able to educate people on investing is something that I'm really focusing on this year, because when the market does shift, and it will happen, it always does, I'll be ready to encourage the people that I have been educating these last 2 years on how great real estate is. And the truth is, like I tell people, when the market crashes, it crashes because we most likely have an overload of short sales, foreclosures. Those people now become renters. So it's always going to be an incredible market in real estate, because when people are buying investment properties, there's going to be hundreds of people out there who need to rent your properties. And so I am looking forward to that. Another thing, again, just going back to videos and coming from contribution, it's just educating these people. So that's how I plan on staying proactive. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Kathrin?
So I try to ignore that noise, because it's just, for me, it's just distracting. I keep doing what I'm doing. There can always be another Zillow. Let's just say the name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they cannot replace the human relationship. And I just try to stay relevant to my clients, on top of mind, and nurture the relationships. I mean, I know I'm really good in relationship building. I'm really good on my videos. The people that call me, they know me better than me. They'd say, yeah, I know you have kids. It's like almost like, oh my God, stalker talking, you know? But people, they know me because they see my videos. They know my personality. I'm just a very, very real person in all my videos. Just like Alisha said, like, we make mistakes, we have blurbs, and we're just real people. And I don't think any platform, any tech company can replace us. So I'm not all too worried about it, because there's this human element that's just not replaceable. If it was so easy, they would have already taken over 10 years ago. So I'm not all too worried.
Stay focused and stay in your lane, right?
Correct. I think the people that need to be worried are the people that are just putting a property on the MLS and don't do anything else. So I think if you are an agent that has a great value proposition that goes beyond putting the property on the MLS, you will last.
Awesome. Nate?
Yeah, so kind of to what Kathrin just said there, I don't know if there's ever an app or a company or a computer or robot that can replace the human connection. This is a very relationship-based industry. And I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where a seller is just going to be like, oh, the app says my house is worth this. Let's just list it and I'll do it myself. Like, they're just not comfortable with it. Most people like sell a home maybe once every 10, 15 years, unless they're an investor or flipper or something like that. It's not something they're doing very regularly. And they want someone there who's going to have the experience and the expertise to kind of walk them through it. And I don't think, like, I know myself personally, I wouldn't work the way I do if it was a salary job. If this was a salary 9 to 5 job, I wouldn't be talking to anybody on weekends or evenings or, so I just don't know if they'll ever replace that, those top agents that are kind of doing everything they're doing to get their clients the results that they're getting them. And yeah, just got to stay focused on what you're doing, provide value to your clients. And, I don't think it should impact us too much, just something to kind of be conscious of moving forward.
Awesome.
And in regards to like building relationships, just knowing the person and their phone number and their email, like that is not enough. Alisha is a master at really getting to know her clients on a deep level. And she has a great format of getting a lot of detailed information about our clients and keeping in touch with them. She knows their dog's names. She knows the children's names. She knows their favorite choice of charity. She knows their favorite place to get a cup of coffee. So she can call any single one of her clients at any time and say, hey, how's Buddy the dog doing? How's, would you like to go meet at your favorite coffee spot, and have a cup of coffee or send a gift card. And people really love that. And building a deeper relationship with clients will certainly get them to advocate for you more and send you more business, as well as, you'd be able to have a great relationship with all of your clients.
It's awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, let's jump to the next one. So this is my personal passion, and I know I can see Kathrin smiling. We both have a ton of investment properties, and I just want you guys to talk to us about wealth building and what are you guys doing to diversify? And the real reason for this question, and the thing that I constantly preach about, we run a monthly investor mastermind for our offices, is the biggest sin to me is agents that are selling a ton of deals every single year, but they're not buying property. So my messaging as we're going into this discussion, if you're selling 30, 40, 50, 100 homes a year, start buying property. This is the way to freedom. So just talk to us about wealth building, guys, and anything that you're passionate about and what you're involved in, and any tips, please, whoever wants to take it.
Yeah, I'm super passionate about wealth building. That is my number one reason I'm even in this business. And people know that I'm very passionate. I do a ton of videos on it. For me, it's like I see doctors, I see lawyers that make great income and none of them invests in real estate. All they have is their primary home, and that seems to be enough for them. I just want to walk up to them, grab them by the shoulders and shake them. So it drives me crazy that they don't see the value. So I see it my duty to lead by example and teach them how to build wealth. So lucky us, we are all with Keller Williams, or some of us are not. This is not supposed to be like a recruiting thing, but I consider myself extremely lucky that I started in 2011 with Keller Williams, because I see a lot of my colleagues that are with other companies and all they do is sell property and they own nothing but their primary residence. And thankfully, I've seen all those amazing wealth builders on stages leading by example, and that inspired me to invest on my own. So my husband and I, we own by now 8 properties. Each one of my children already has a property. I have 2 children only, so
nice.
Everybody has a property already. My net worth is several $1 million, and I came to this country with $750. So by me investing smart and always living below my means, I saw friends of mine that made 1/3 of my money by double the house, but we always waited to buy a bigger house. We lived on 1,200 square foot with 2 children until we owned 5 properties, and then we bought a bigger house. So always keep in mind, your primary home, it's not an asset. It's a liability because it does not bring you any income. Yes, it might go up in value, but you really need to invest. So especially when you sit at the source, how many sellers do you talk to? Do you offer your sellers to buy the house? I mean, you could always offer them to buy it. You could tell them you're an investor. There are many deals that you could make as long as you disclose that you're a real estate agent. And my portfolio right now consists of, for example, the space that I'm sitting in. It's my office. It's a storefront office. I own it. I own that space, right? So I have commercial properties, I have residential properties, I have vacation rental properties in the mountains of Georgia. And now I'm adding to my portfolio student housing. So I want to own 15 properties by the time I'm 40. And I'm really passionate and crazy about it. My husband always has to put in the brakes. He's like, can you please stop? Can you please stop? Can we like breathe for a second? But I definitely don't want to be that agent that's 85 years old and still shows properties. I don't. So if you want to have passive income and want to have FU money, you need to invest in real estate. So,
I love that.
so much that.
But I'm going to challenge you though, Kathrin. I think that you can get to more than 15 in a couple. I'm going to challenge you.
I don't know how old I am, my friend. I only look like 22.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I own 7 doors, and
Nice.
I'm always looking at, my goal is to buy at least 1 property a year. However, I believe in diversifying, and the last thing I ever want is for all of my money to be in properties. So I have a great financial advisor that, just like with our sellers and buyers, we expect them to trust us. I give him a certain amount of money every single year that I have been for the last 5 years, and say, aggressively invest for me. And I don't need to know what you're doing. I love to look at my statements every single month. Last March was scary, but it went right back up the following month. I have a lot of, we're also looking into buying into a Keller Williams Market Center. We're in like the early stages of that, but hopefully next week will be the week. But where I'm also looking into buying a property management company. I've met with that person a few times, and we're just working out the details of that. We don't have a great property management company here in our area. So I feel like I could bring a lot of value, and the books are, it's an incredible income. Yesterday, I'm always looking for opportunity. And when I was doing lead generation yesterday, my drunk monkey, as I was calling my past client from 9 years ago, I'm like, he doesn't even live here. What's the point? But he's on my command call, so I'll go ahead and call him. And he moved to a different state and said that he just closed on a duplex for $72,000, and it was renting for $1,200 a month. And I said, send me your realtor's information as soon as we hang up. I made contact, and I went home and I told my husband, because I have been searching for a state to invest in where prices are low and rents are good, that I can be buying, because I'm, as you know, in California. So it's harder for us to purchase investment properties for a good price point where we're not making only $100 cash flow after we pay the mortgage. So I'm excited about doing that since I finally found a good place. And my last one, and I'm always looking for other ways to, beside my rental properties and things like that and real estate, to make extra money. I coach a few people, and the money is great, but what I get from it is so much better. So I feel like, it's a massive win-win to have these people trust me to lead them to higher production. And I plan on taking on 2 more coaching clients this year that will allow me to fund another project.
Phenomenal. Nate?
Yeah, so I don't know, I probably did it the wrong way, but I live in like a big $1 million house, and I don't own any investment properties. So I need to look at this as an opportunity here. The market's actually shifting this year, and I think there's going to be opportunity to pick up some properties. But on it, like, we moved last year, and I just couldn't quarantine in our house anymore. I was just like, this is, and we got 2 dogs, and they just needed more space. So we pulled the trigger. I wouldn't say it's an investment. There's not really a return on it other than we enjoy it here. But I also am looking at other opportunities. I'm going to be probably opening my own staging company, where we're going to either lease or purchase a warehouse. I'm going to own the inventory because I'm paying ridiculous prices for rentals right now. So I see other opportunities to open businesses within a business, whether it be a staging company or a cleaning company or something that you can use. And then other agents are always asking me, hey, who's your stager? Who's your cleaner? Like, you could make money off other agents too if you have a successful business that way. So I'm just trying to explore all my options right now, but you definitely motivated me to start picking up some investment properties.
Well, Nate, we're looking for large apartment building syndications now. So when we get the syndication opportunity, we'll
Let's
get
do
you in
it.
the game. That's awesome. Chris, anything to add to that?
No, definitely. I think investment properties are the way to go. Like Alisha said, putting some money aside every single year, is super important. And, our office does syndications. So, we buy big office buildings or big apartment buildings together, and then everyone chips in. So it's a really great way to start, as an investment, to be part of a syndication.
Yeah, and the final point that I just want to drive home on this is with your VIP clients, especially by just educating them on the power of investing. When you get like the doctor that Kathrin mentioned, that just they don't have time and they just don't have resources, they have no time. If you can get them good properties and start to make them money, they're going to be clients for life that you never even have to worry about. So that's another angle to look at this. So I appreciate that, guys, and let's we're probably going to have to get on a separate call about this because we could go for another hour on this topic alone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chris, you want to take the last one and bring us home?
Sure. So if you had $10,000 to invest right now in your business, where would you put that money?
Like starting out as an agent?
No, like if you personally had 10,000 extra dollars, where would you put your money?
Probably all in social media ads for me. Like, I just feel like I haven't found a better rate of return for leads and referrals and that kind of thing. So I always think but that's not, everybody might have different strategies and stuff like that. But I find I'd probably put it into social media ads.
Cool.
And similar to Nate, what I wrote down when you gave us our questions was I would hire a social media person. So I agree. I mean, I think that there's, ads that can be done. I struggle with just making sure that I'm doing the best that I can with social media. And I feel like 2 hours a day, a social media expert on my team could kill it. And it would really elevate what I'm capable of doing so that I'm not, because I don't know if you feel the same, Nate, but I always feel like I'm thinking of things. And if I just had someone who came into my office every day and said, we're doing 3 videos, here's what they're on, I can create the scripts around it if they just give me the ideas. But sometimes I find myself getting so busy that I forget to do those simple things. So I would hire a social media person. And with $10,000 for a few hours a day, that would pay
a lot of content.
3 months, 4 months worth. So
you're absolutely right. My coach told me if I don't do 3 videos a week, he's going to fire me. So I'm in the same boat. It's awesome.
Alisha, you're really great. You're really right about that content because I don't know if we have this in common, but I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom. And the first thing I think about are things like that, like my social media and what I'm going to do. And then I can't go back to bed. So it's like, thinking, we're adrenaline heads. So thinking about having someone take care of that and think about it for you, the content would really free up a lot more time and it, would give you leverage. So it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Did anybody else have anything to add before we move into Q&A?
Yes, I would hire a social media manager, virtual assistant. I have one. She's been with me for 2 years and she's in the Philippines and she does give me the ideas. She's like, I need this, I need that, I need a video, I need this, I need that. And she does all my social media management. And I always tell people I'm a solo agent, but the video mass production that I do, it's not a one-woman show. This cannot be done by someone alone. You need to have someone that's behind you that does all that stuff, because people always think I do all this myself. But I have a social media manager. She premieres the videos, she edits the videos, she repurposes the videos. So when I have long interviews, she edits them out and makes it look like brand new material. She links everything, she does everything. And if you don't have that person, you find yourself running a production company. So you need to find time to still do your job of selling real estate. Yes, it takes time to record the videos. Obviously, you need to do those videos, but you need to have someone that helps you. So for example, what I also do, I leverage my children. My son is now 12. What we do the market updates once a week, and we do it on a green screen. He films me. I run the quick social media, the quick numbers updates, and he throws in the back some video that he filmed with a drone, and he gets $4 per video. So, you know, I leverage my children. They both get a salary for doing certain tasks. And I think it's important that you have this virtual assistant that helps you. And mine works out great. She's less than $1,000 a month. And I guess that's what I would do first with $10,000.
I used to have my kids in my videos, Kathrin. Now they're 12 and 13, so they want nothing to do with me. But when they were younger, they used to do my market update videos. They would talk about the property there. It was, people loved it. I wish.
People think it's cute. Like
Yeah.
anything puppies and kids gets a lot of attention.
Yep. All right. That's awesome, guys. Well, the chat has been blowing up. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all these, but what I would love to ask is if you have a particular question and if you're feeling bold, please come off of mute and feel free to ask a question for the group here.
I'll start it off. First of all, thank you. This is so humbling, and I have a lot of gratitude, like exuding right now, because a year ago I was not in this position. Now I'm running meetings, so this is just amazing. Chris, thank you. Alisha, thank you. Nate, thank you. Kathrin, thank you for being here. So one of my biggest responsibilities here in the Market Center is to drive and push the value of technology, i.e. command social media. When I first came on here, that was kind of my main focus. Although we do have some agents that are resistant because they have a system that's been working for an X amount of time, which is completely fine. But the reality of it is that social media is slowly kind of just taking over every little aspect of every little business. If you were resistant at first to use these systems, what were some of, like, if you can go back in time and talk yourself out of that, like what would you say to a mega agent or a agent who is used to a system, and how would you sell it to yourself to convince yourself to use social media, paid ads, and things like that? It's a little bit of a loaded question, but
I would say start easy. You know, I mean, my goal is doing 5 videos a week. And if I told someone to do 5 videos a week, they would probably throw up and go hide. So start simple. You know, market stats video is one of the easiest things. All I say is in the last week, there's been 24 homes that hit the market, 40 went pending, and 12 sold. It's a great market, as you can tell. Call me if you want any more information. And sometimes I add in, you know, right now in our area, we have 68 homes on the market. We literally have no inventory, and it's super scary, but bringing awareness to people is really easy. So that's a simple video that people can do on a weekly basis and stay consistent with. But I would say just start with easy things that aren't overwhelming. And when you see it working, like I tell my coaching clients, once it works, it's the best thing in the world. And you go, oh my gosh, like, why haven't I been doing this more often? So you just have to see success, but success is going to take consistency. So stay with it and start small.
Awesome. Thank you.
And for you guys running an office, like, one thing that I wish more offices would do is bring those weekly stats, like text them out to the agent, send an email saying, here's your weekly solds, listings, and pendings. Because if you make it easier for them with the content to do the video, they're less likely to say they didn't know what to say.
Thank you. I'm going to go to the chat for a question, and then we'll open it back up. So Lydia asked, when do you ask your clients for a referral? And do you guys have a script that you use to ensure that you get a referral?
I use the mic hicks. I tell them up front that I expect a referral from them if they're happy. And the wrong time to ask them is at the closing table, because then they're shopping for furniture. They are talking to other friends about buying a house while they are buying a house. So make sure you ask that early enough, and ask it to a level that it's almost annoying. And I tell them this up front: I will keep asking you. You will probably think I'm crazy, but I will keep asking you. And just make it sound funny. But I ask at least 5 times during the transaction.
Wow. Love it.
Thank you.
Nate or Alicia, anything to add to that?
I like to ask, I think, it depends, like if you, right after they've just bought or just sold and the deal's kind of done and they're just kind of excited and happy, I feel like that's when they're at the highest during the transaction. So that's when I find it the easiest to ask them, and I feel like I get the best response. And then, yeah, just touching base every few months, reaching out. I maybe need to get more purposeful with asking specifically for referrals, but I just kind of touch base, and that tries to come up in conversation organically, right? So maybe that's something I need to think about a better script for.
And I need to do it more often also. I do it every time they're excited, which is usually about 3 times during the transaction, when they get their offer accepted, when they get their request for repairs agreed upon and we're moving forward. And then at the very end, like Nate said, when they're super excited. And I just make sure to tell them that referrals are the blood of my business, and it's the thing that keeps it going. And we're really big on asking for reviews. My 2 admins are bonused really heavily on getting reviews. So we focus on that and ask them to share it when they're done writing the reviews.
Yeah, I'm like, I do the same as Nate. When I see my clients are at that high level and they're excited, I usually ask for the referral, the review at that point, because I know if it goes too far past the closing, they've kind of moved on and they're not really thinking about it any longer. But I have a standard text message, and I always say right when we're about to close, it's been my goal to give you 5-star service. Do you feel like I've given you 5-star service? And then I say, okay, well, I'm going to send you a text right after the closing with asking for reviews. And I put several links in there, because I don't only want a review on one platform. I want as many as I can. And then I put a really nice message how great it was working with them and helping them, that I'm really happy for them. And then I put the links right in the text message, and usually all the time they fill it out right away.
And most people ask for the reviews at the end, but if they're super excited and happy with you anytime throughout the transaction, I would send out that Google review link then and just say, once you close, you're going to get really busy. You're moving into the house and you're probably not going to find time. So if you do find 5 minutes in the next few days, I'd love a review. And that gives you the opportunity at the end of the transaction, if they haven't, to ask again. But if you guys are experiencing what I am, it's harder right at the end to get the review, because they are moving and super excited and busy, transferring all their utilities and all of that kind of stuff. So.
But I also find with those reviews, if you have an easy website, mine is reviewkathrin.com. I'm going to put it in the chat. There it shows where I want them to put a review. Okay. So I tell them write one, then copy and paste. And then I also put a sample review so they know what I expect. I don't want them to write, Kathrin was great, Kathrin was awesome. No, please write a little bit more. And I do get a lot of business, believe it or not, from Zillow. I don't pay for Zillow, but I have amazing reviews. And people find me there and call me. It's to the point where people are like, I get a little suspicious because it's only 5-star reviews. I'm like, well, I'm just that good. So make it easy for people to put the review, because if it's too complicated, they're not going to do it. So I have it all on this reviewkathrin.com. It's like all the links where they can go on and post the review.
One thing I learned from Alisha, which I also love, and we do now, is she does a 2-week settling in call after the closing that she sets her calendar. And clients don't want to feel like you just wanted to work with them to make a commission check. So that call after 2 weeks, hey, how's it going? Did you guys move in yet? Is Mary feeling better? anything you need, you could always, ask for a referral as well in that same phone call. And I always tell people, when I make that phone call, I say, I promise I'm going to make you look really good, and I don't even ask for referrals. I ask for introduction. Can you make an introduction for me? Because I think referrals sometimes are too much pressure. So when people make that introduction, we firmly believe, my team, that we should be getting 1 to 2 pieces of business from every single closing that we have. But we started those settling in calls, and they're really great, and kind of takes people by storm, and it takes it to the next level. And then you're able to keep in touch with them with your touch system, and then more business just kind of funnels. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I usually, in those calls too, Chris, I say things like, in the next month, you're going to experience some pains and pleasures of this home. Please let me know if anything comes up. I don't want you to go about this alone. So it allows them to, give me a call if there's something that, even if it's not in my realm, my job is to be the connector. And if they haven't given me a review by then, they usually do at that call.
That's awesome.
One tip that I have on getting those reviews, if they haven't given it to me after 2 weeks, I always make a call and I say, hey, I just wanted to remind you that my service does not end at the closing table. I'm here for you if you ever need any contractors. And they all know I own a lot of properties, so I know a lot of people, and they call me. My clients call me for everything, and I absolutely love it. It drives my husband crazy because people call me for everything, but I love it. And then I just remind them, I said, and by the way, we are trying to close out the transaction on our end, but we can't close it out because we're missing your review. So people think they're holding up a process without their review, and then they do it.
Clients for life, Kathrin. Clients for life. I love it. All right, let's open it up to anybody else on the call. I know we've covered a lot, and I've seen a lot of people writing down and taking vigorous notes, but does anybody else have another question they'd like to ask?
I had a big one here in the chat. Also, thank you guys for answering the questions as they're coming into the chat. That was a huge help. So from Spencer Friedman, I'm at the 35 to 40 transactions per year, and I'm at my limit. I have a part-time admin, which has been a godsend.
Yeah, give me a minute. I gotta pull up a property real quick.
Oh, please mute yourself, guys. My biggest challenge right now is finding how to let new clients know that my lead buyer agent will be taking care of them. Do you find it hard to tell people that you won't be able to take care of them directly and show them all the homes yourself? And what's the best way to make that process smooth and make your clients feel as loved as possible, and that you're not handing them up? I feel like you guys just addressed that, but do you guys have any more to say about that?
I cover that in my buyer's consultation on Zoom. I have one slide where I tell people that all the negotiation happens through me, but it's not the best use of my time to open doors. So I have had no pushback on that, and they totally understand it, because the truth is, if they have bought a house before, you can ask them, the previous house that you bought, did you buy because you liked it or because the agent talked you into it? And then they're going to say, because we liked it. Okay, great. The best use of my time is really not to open doors. So I have someone that's available 24/7 to open you doors. And then after the showing, I'm going to touch base with you and the agent so we can discuss where the offer needs to come in. And it's really all about setting expectations. And as long as they know it, I've had no pushbacks. I have a showing agent that does all my showings. I don't do any showings anymore. And she just showed like $2 million properties. And she has like it was a little bit borderline because her car is not as nice, but she showed them properties and they just closed for $1.7 million on a condo. And I had zero pushback because I did all the negotiation. And when she was done with the showing, she called me immediately. I knew everything about the properties. She sent me videos, pictures of the defects or if there was anything wrong with it. And when I picked up the phone to call the clients, they felt like I was really there at the property. You just really need to make sure that this agent talks to you and is your eyes and ears.
I usually, tell my clients that I have an incredible agent that it does an amazing job with working with buyers, and that's really what they specialize in. And I take a lot of time in the beginning when a new agent joins my team, that I train them on my standards and my vision and our goals and the way that we treat clients down to micro behaviors, so that we are, we can almost duplicate what I've done already, and our clients can all have the same experience. So I give them confidence that these agents are incredible, and usually they wind up liking the agents on my team better than me, and they develop relationships, and then the agents on my team, their businesses start to explode.
I'm in a
Awesome.
smaller market, so I show most of my own properties. If it's out of, I mean, I do 90% of my business in my town. The farthest I go is about 30 minutes away. But if it's in the evening or on the weekends, I usually will have shown them a property before, so they know that I'm really good at what I do. And then I ask someone else in my office to show the houses for me. But I'm not, I don't do what Kathrin does just because I'm in a very small town.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think we've covered a ton, and we really want to be respectful of everybody's time here. And we're extremely grateful for you guys taking the time out of your busy days. Can we do round robin real quick? Where to find you on social, what areas you cover, so we can pump those referrals to you?
I'm Northern California, so I'm about an hour and a half from Sacramento, a small town called Chico. And I put my stuff in the chat, but I'm Alisha Simpkins on Facebook, and then at Alisha Simpkins on Instagram.
I'm in Miami Beach. We cover anything from Homestead to Fort Lauderdale. And I'm, social media, Kathrin Rein, no Ian Kathrin, and on Instagram, Beautiful Miami Team.
Perfect. Nate?
I'm in Ontario, Canada here. We're just east of Toronto. And my Instagram is it's Real Estate Nate with an underscore between Real Estate and Nate, and then an underscore on the end. I just put it in the chat. And then on my Facebook, it's Nate Brouwer Real Estate, with a dash between my name and real estate. And yeah, looking forward to all the Canadian referrals if you guys got anybody wanting to come up north.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you guys so much. It's been incredible. Chris, any parting words here?
I just, wanted to say there is no secret to success. It's just passionate. You have to love what you do every day to wake up. And it's really a formula of hard work and connecting with people and building relationships and making sure that you have sound systems set up as a foundation to your business so that you can, expand your horizons and grow your business as big as you choose to grow it.
And massive action. Get out there and hit like 50 doors, guys. All right, everybody. Take care. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thanks for having us.
Thank
Got
you,
it.
Travis.
Thank you guys so much.
Guys.
Very informative. You guys were awesome.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great success that Get it. Oh, Lonnie, go Lonnie. Go Lonnie. Go Lonnie. Go Lonnie. Go Lonnie. Go.
It's 12 past midnight. Don't close your eyes. Your soul's at the light, and I'll be by your side. I've come to take you there.
Yeah, dance battle. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Happy Friday, everyone. Go out there and do some business. Let's get some closings this weekend. Thank you for joining us at the Top 100 Agent panel. I have been your host, the most, Director of Technology and Agent Services, Giancarlo Gallego. Have a great day, everyone.